Alright guys, welcome back. So surprisingly, we did not get any new leaks concerning the new pack that will release this week. So I quickly want to talk about this, just my expectations. My expectations, no official leaks here, guys. So this is just me guessing what is coming. Keep that in mind because I have heard your critique and your comments on the last leaks video, basically, where we talked about the Fiendsmith stuff. And this is what I want to start with. We obviously will probably get new information on the upcoming cards tomorrow or the day after when Master Duel basically updates itself. But what could we get in the pack? So what is up for release basically? And I've talked about this in the last leaks video. I am assuming, independent of what Decade said or not, to get the Fiendsmith card. Honestly, the rest of the Fiendsmith cards make sense because they are, as I have already talked about here in Rage of the Abyss, the core set that we are currently on. You can see right here the Lacrima. So the cards, the Kyrie as well as the Rex Tremendae are not from Rage of the Abyss, but I guess we will get all of them. Also the Fiendsmith Agnum Blade. These are the four cards that are basically missing at the moment. And I think because, in my opinion, we will get a weaker pack on May or in May, that we will get at least the Fiendsmith cards because they can go into a lot of decks that are currently quite good. So my expectations, no leaks here once again, are that we will get the Fiendsmith cards. Makes sense in my opinion since we want to finish Rage of the Abyss. And here on Untapped GG you can see that with the Fiendsmith cards you could play, for example, we have Blue Eyes here very prominent right now. You could put the entire Fiendsmith stuff into Blue Eyes if you wanted to. I think the pure Blue Eyes is just better. In Snake Eyes this would make the deck better because you have this additional option to grind game with the Lacrima, because Lacrima can be shuffled back into the deck every turn and resummon a Fiendsmith Requiem from the graveyard. And then you can also make better use of the interruption Fiendsmiths in Paradise, where you can, when this card is in the graveyard, banish this card to send to the graveyard, normally a Desiree, and Desiree can then out an opponent's card. So you have a more follow-up with the Fiendsmith stuff, but you also have more interruption, and you would definitely put this in Snake Eyes. And then we have, I've talked about this deck a few videos ago, the Bestial deck basically, which is a control deck. We are going to play a mixture of Bestials, also Primate cards, and then some normal cards, as well as, in this case, the Fiendsmith engine. And this deck will definitely become way better with the entire Fiendsmith stuff, since the deck's core strategy is basically to grind out the opponent over multiple turns with the use of the Primate engine, with the use of the Fiendsmith engine. It obviously can already grind, but will be able to more effectively grind in the future. We have also seen this deck winning a bigger tournament in Master Duel. Very funny. Not this version specifically, but the one with the Beast of Talva here won the Decade Meta Weekly tournament yesterday. Super fun, because yeah, the normal monsters are coming back basically. So we can also put in the Fiendsmith stuff in here, which means the Fiendsmith, or the release of the entire Fiendsmith stuff, will basically change the meta. Jubel will play it, Temper Dragons can play it. Other than that, you could also put it in White Forest if you wanted to. Memento definitely gets a boost from the entire Fiendsmith engine, and you could also play this in Labyrinth, making this grindy deck even more grindy. And then you could also go ahead and use some Kashtira variant here, because Kashtira is obviously also being played as a control deck here. Could also play the Fiendsmith engine within the Kashtira engine, but then you would need to put out cards like the Macrocosmos or Dimensional Fisher, because otherwise you are banishing your own Fiendsmith engine. But you could definitely combine these two, but you would then go lower on the floodgates and play it more as a control variant. So as I already said, I'm expecting the Fiendsmith stuff, since this will definitely change up the meta a bit, making the pack that we are getting not totally useless. But then I'm not really expecting, and I've talked about this, I mean, from a time perspective, we could definitely get either Ryziel, which would be a big meta change, or Malice, but I'm not really expecting them right now. But in the next pack, I could definitely see one of those two archetypes coming. I guess we will finish Rage of the Abyss first, and that would mean that we will definitely get the water stuff, the new Atlantean support, the new Mermaid support, Abyss Shrine, the Shadow Squad, and other cards here, which is definitely not bad. This is not a bad combo deck, but we are also missing the opportunity, and this is what the TCG, or in the TCG you could do this until the recent ban list, to summon two Toads, basically, the Omni Negate Frogs. But because we have the Frog already Unitoad or Totally Awesome, yeah, because we have Totally Awesome already banned in Master Duel, we will obviously not be able to do this, which means in Master Duel this deck will be way worse. Also, it's not great into Max C, which in the TCG, that's not such a big aspect. We have seen this deck being good in the TCG, but not that great in OCG, and we are obviously more OCG. And then we might also get these 6 Samurai support cards here. I guess we will just finish this pack, and obviously, and this is something that's always interesting, we might also see the release of the TCG exclusive stuff that we are still missing, which in this case, I think this should also be from here. Let me quickly scroll down. Yeah, which should be the Mimighoul stuff. This is already the second support wave basically for Mimighoul, so I could definitely see all of the Mimighoul stuff coming to finish this pack, and then the Atlantean Mermaid stuff together with maybe the 6 Samurai stuff, and then the rest of the Fiendsmith cards. This is, in my opinion, what is most likely. Once again, no leaks, just my suggestions. If I would be a betting man, I would bet on something like this, and if we are lucky, we might get the crossover breaker stuff with Ryziel and Metis, definitely shaking up the meta. But I think because the Primate Blue Eyes deck has already shook up the meta, that Konami isn't really on to do it once again in this pack, but they will most likely keep this meta around for another month, which I hope they don't. In my heart, I hope we get stuff from crossover breakers, because I'm definitely ready for another meta. Honestly, I don't know how it's with you guys. You can let me in the comments how you like this current meta. I definitely like it, but because we have had Blue Eyes around for a while now, I definitely have played my share of Blue Eyes, and I'm ready for another deck, and obviously do not really want to return to something like Snake Eyes or Branded Despia, since these decks have been around for years now, and I'm definitely through with them. Also true for something like Temper Dragons or Jubel. These are decks that have been in the game for such a long time. I would definitely be, I would like to play this Bestial Control deck with the Fiendsmith stuff if we can get the rest of the Fiendsmith engine, because then this is definitely better. And playing control decks, I don't know how it is about you guys, but I definitely like this, since a control deck or playing a control deck basically means that you will play more turns, making the game more interesting, at least in my opinion. So this is very interesting. We also will have to see what the leaks will be in the future. Maybe we don't get any more leaks. We will have to see, because for this May pack we didn't really get anything, just the guess that we might get the rest of the Fiendsmith stuff, which is honestly a pretty easy guess to make, I think. But obviously, because it's Konami, they could also go a very different route, because at the moment they kind of tend to do what they want to do, but keeping to the spirit of basically finishing one core set before we move on to the next one. So this is what I'm expecting for the pack. Obviously, when we will get new information either tomorrow or on Wednesday, I will be making a video talking about all the new announced cards, and then there will be combo guides for all the new videos, as there always are. And obviously we are going to stream on, I think it's Thursday. Let me know in the comments if I'm correct there, because I was on vacation. I have not really looked into the release schedule. But yeah, we have no new leaks here, but this is my guess. You can let me know in the comments what you are hoping for, what you are guessing personally. Let me know. And I also received your criticism for the video that came out yesterday concerning the fact that there was the Master Duel logo on the video thumbnail, not the TCG or OCG logo. Basically, I've received this. Sorry for that, and I will put the logo on videos in the future. Just that quickly. Okay, guys, thanks for being here. We will see each other most likely tomorrow, maybe in a video later on this day concerning the results from the most recent new TCG set. Very interesting, a very cool new archetype has arrived there, or it's not completely new, but with new support, and has dominated the weekend. It's super interesting. It was a very cool weekend to look at the YCS and the Austrian Championships, but more to that in a video later on. Thanks for being here, and we will see each other in the next one.